Resilient Georgia defines resilience as the ability to overcome adversity. Historical Heroes features people from the past who cope with setbacks to reach their goals. This is Dom from the Gwinnett County Public Library, and today, Historical Heroes will spotlight the resilience of Alice Coachman Davis as she overcame adversity to become the first Black woman to win gold in the Olympics. According to the book Jumping Over the Moon, a biography of Alice Coachman Davis by Nellie Gordon Rulheck, Doctor of Education, Alice was born on Thursday, November 9, 1922, in Albany, Georgia. She was the fifth of 10 children born to Evelyn Jackson Coachman and Fred Doc Coachman, who worried if Alice would survive since she only weighed 7 pounds at birth. Her two older sisters and two older brothers weighed 9 or 10 pounds when they were born, and sadly, one of these brothers had died at birth. Alice was healthy, but the family would face the early loss of two more boys that were younger than Alice. Strong family and social bonds can set an early foundation for children to become resilient when faced with challenges throughout their lives. Alice's family moved around a lot and were separated frequently for schooling or when their father needed to look for work. In Jumping Over the Moon, Alice said she did not get much affection from her parents, but she did receive affection and kindness from her maternal grandfather and paternal great-grandmother, who the family sometimes lived with. Alice was very attached to her great-grandmother Rachel and felt lonely when she passed away. Alice's paternal grandmother Rose was not easy to get along with and would not help out the family when it came to watching the children while Alice's parents worked. So Alice had to delay attending school for 2 years in order to watch her younger surviving brother. Alice said she was always running here and there to help out her family and did not get to start school until she was 8 years old. Rulheck mentions that Alice's father was a strict disciplinarian and believed the only way to keep his children in line was with corporal punishment. Even though Alice knew she would get a whipping when she got home for not asking for permission, she loved running and jumping so much that after she was done with her evening chores, she would leap over the back fence and run to the Madison Street School playground, which was supervised by Cecil Burton. On this playground and along the dirt roads near her home, Alice honed her running and high jumping skills, leaping over makeshift ropes held up on either end by two schoolmates. She learned to be competitive by running and jumping against the boys. Her parents did not understand why she wanted to pursue running and jumping instead of behaving like a proper lady. Despite the fact that she did not have the support of her parents in her athletic interests, according to HOPE, which stands for Healthy Outcomes for Positive Experiences, having someone outside of the family who takes a genuine interest in supporting a child can help build a child's resilience into adulthood. Rulheck states that Alice's future in sports may be attributed to the insight and support from her fifth grade teacher, Cora Bailey, who saw how fast Alice could run. When Alice entered Madison High School in 1939, her athletic ability was also noticed and encouraged by Harry E. Lash, the boys' track coach, who also promoted the girls' field events. Bailey Lash got Melvin L. Hurd, the girls' track and field coach, to take a chance on Alice, and together they got her a chance to compete in the annual relays at what was then called the Tuskegee Institute. This relay event was also an opportunity for Alice to be noticed by the coaches at Tuskegee, which allowed high school students to compete on their team if they were good enough, along with the possibility of earning a scholarship. According to Jumping Over the Moon, Alice needed a proper wardrobe to go to the relays, and Cora Bailey's sister gave her some clothing. The support Alice received inspired her to higher aspirations, and she put all her energy into training to win. In May of 1939, Tuskegee coaches Cleveland Abbott and Christine Evans Petty had noticed Alice's accomplishments on the track and in the high jump. The coaches made a trip to Albany to ask Alice's parents if she could train with them over the summer and compete for Tuskegee in the women's track and field championship. With reluctance, her parents let her go after Coach Lash assured Alice would be taken care of. After summer training, Alice competed for Tuskegee in the Amateur Athletic Union, or AAU, track meet on September 3, 1939, in Waterbury, Connecticut. She obtained gold in the high jump by leaping over the bar at 5 feet 2 inches. Coach Lash and his sister surprised Alice by showing up to the meet. In Jumping Over the Moon, she states that she was so glad to see someone she knew. Alice's support system also included her aunt and godmother, Carrie Spry. In 1940, Alice was offered a work scholarship to Tuskegee's high school and post-secondary program. Spry helped persuade Alice's parents to let her transfer. Spry also opened Alice's parents' eyes to her true athletic ability, not only in running and jumping, but also in basketball. Transitioning to life at Tuskegee wasn't always easy for Alice. Her father had been injured and had trouble providing for the family. Alice was not getting along with Coach Petty and had to work twice as hard as the others due to Coach Petty's demands. Resilient Georgia states that healthy activities and building connections can increase the chance that an individual will better cope with stress. Alice found solace and joy when singing in the Tuskegee choir and met a fellow student named Frank Davis who became her confidant until he was drafted into the service during World War II. Despite not having a pleasant relationship with Coach Petty, Alice continued to train hard in track and field and also as a guard on the Tuskegee basketball team. She won championships in both basketball and track and field. In Jumping Over the Moon, Alice mentions that if she had a proper place to train, which was not the case in the segregated South, she may have liked running more than she did. Although she preferred the high jump over the sprints, Alice set a meet record in the 50 meters, running it in 6.4 seconds on July 8, 1944, at the Senior National Outdoor Track and Field Championship, as she defended her title in the event in 1945, 1946, and 1947. Competing in the 100-meter dash at the annual National AAU meets brought Alice up against the 1930s Olympic gold medalist Stella Walsh. Stella beat out Alice in the 100 meters in 1942, 1943, and 1944, but by 1945, Alice was at the top of her game. On June 30th, 1945, Alice beat Stella in the 100 meters and again on August 5th, 1946, at the National AAU Championships. Alice dominated in her four events: the high jump, the 50-meter, the 100-meter, and the 4x400-meter relay, winning national titles in all four. She won 10 AAU National High Jump Championships in a row between the years of 1939 and 1948. Alice completed her studies at Tuskegee and returned home with aspirations to earn a spot on the United States Olympic team. Alice continued to cope with being barred from proper training facilities due to her race by running up and down the road near her home. Unfortunately, because of World War II, the 1940 and 1944 Olympic Games had been canceled. In Jumping Over the Moon, Alice said she was at the top of her form during those years and had to stay in shape for 8 years for a shot at the 1948 Games in London, England. Learning that she was at home, Aaron Brown, the president of Albany State College, visited her with an offer to transfer credits from Tuskegee to Albany State to earn a bachelor's degree in home economics. Alice saved enough money to enroll in 1947. While at Albany State, Alice trained with Coach Chris Rulick Jr. and won the first of 2 Olympic trial high jumps with a record-breaking 5 feet 4-inch jump at the AAU National Championship in Michigan. The next trial was in Rhode Island, and she decided not to compete in the running events and just focus on the high jump. Although her coach was not pleased, he helped her focus on winning the high jump to be one of 11 women to make the Olympic team. The United States Olympic team traveled by boat to the 14th Olympiad in London, England. Alice's event was on Saturday, August 7, 1948. In Jumping Over the Moon, Alice states that she was feeling ill and weak on the day of competition, so she tried a tip Coach Rulick gave her about changing her takeoff spot, which gave her the least amount of misses. During Alice's time, jumpers used the scissor kick or western roll to clear the bar, which were feet-first techniques running from the side. The Fosbury flop came to the world's attention in 1968, according to Wikipedia.org, which is the head first over the bar technique used today. Since Alice had initially trained herself to jump, her technique was a mix of the western roll with a straight running approach. According to Jumping Over the Moon, when the high jump event was down to the last 3 competitors, all 3 qualified to attempt the height of 5 feet 6 inches. Micheline Ostermeyer from France did not clear the bar on all 3 attempts and earned the bronze medal. Dorothy Tyler Odom from Britain did not clear the height on her first attempt, so she earned the silver medal once Alice cleared the height of 5 feet 6 1/8 inches on her first attempt, setting a record that would stand for 8 years. Alice was overjoyed at seeing her name in first place on the board and watching the American flag raised high. King George VI himself presented the medals to the winners. There was much celebration for the Olympians in Europe, and upon her return to the United States, Alice and the rest of the Olympic team met President Truman. When she got to Georgia, there was a large motorcade that escorted her from Atlanta to Albany. The mayor of Albany met the motorcade and presented her at the Municipal Auditorium. However, Jumping Over the Moon points out that the mayor never directly greeted Alice. The black population sat on one side of the stage, while the white dignitaries sat on the other, and the mayor left the celebration as soon as he could. Albany State College held a banquet for Alice that same evening where she announced that she had reached her goal by winning the Olympic gold medal and was now retiring from track and field. Alice Coachman Davis's life is a powerful example of extraordinary resilience through the challenges she faced throughout her life. She did not receive the national high-profile recognition of other athletes with achievements like hers, but she was inducted into 9 halls of fame, has streets, schools, and track and field meets named in her honor, and she started a foundation to offer financial support for athletes. In 1952, she became the first African-American woman athlete to be the face of Coca-Cola on billboards. Alice encouraged and inspired others throughout her life. According to biography.com, Alice Coachman Davis died in Georgia on July 14, 2014, at the age of 90. There is so much more to know about Alice Coachman Davis's life that is not covered in this program, but there are books and online documentaries you can explore. Although some stated facts differ among resources, the following title was used for this program and is available through Interlibrary Loan. Jumping Over the Moon, a biography of Alice Coachman Davis by Nellie Gordon Rulheck, Doctor of Education. Thank you for watching.